ladies and gentlemen. We in the VIP podcast. This is a special episode. This is our first collab episode. Actually, we collabing with Joseph. What you want to say? You want to put out your podcast too? How you
Yeah,
doing?
we're it's a pleasure to collab with you. We're collabing with Badabing podcast. I'm known as the Inquisitive Mamba podcast. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. My name is Joseph Monroe, and it's a pleasure to be on the Badabing podcast.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you. This is a big podcast episode. We're coming off of last week. We had an episode at the local barbershop, Distinctive and Barbershop, and it was a pretty good episode. But now we look into it, talking with better podcasts and having more guests. I mean, than just the original cast. But today we're gonna be starting with this season 3 episode. We're gonna be talking about the NFL draft.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm ready to get into it. There's a lot of exciting stuff going on in the NFL right now. Obviously, the draft last week, you had Caleb Williams going one, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, a lot of surprise picks in the first round. So I'm ready. I'm ready to go. So take it away.
Yeah, so like you were saying about Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, they were all great picks. I mean, top 3 picks QBs in the draft, and I think it wasn't really that much of a surprise. Like Caleb Williams, he was by far the best QB talent there out of every QB. Like I think everybody knew he was going number 1. Everybody was kind of disappointed that the Bears had a number 1 pick, and I'm a Ohio State fan, so I was kind of a little upset Justin Fields because I feel like Justin Fields, the team that the Bears have now, I feel like that would have actually gave Justin Fields a chance. Because look at Justin Fields' weapons from the past. Like only weapon he had DJ Moore for a year, of course. He had Darnell Mooney. Um, I don't even think I think he may have played with Allen Robinson on his last year, but they got rid of Allen Robinson like around the time that he got there. So he didn't really get to play with prime Allen Robinson. And then looking at who they have now, they had a Keenan Allen, which Keenan Allen's coming off of statistically his best season yet. And then DJ Moore being a number 2, like we haven't even seen DJ Moore really number 2 in his career because when he was on the Panthers, he was a number 1 receiver next to Robbie Anderson. And then when he came to the Bears, he's a number 1 receiver. So I think Justin Fields, he would have been set up so much for success. And I know the O line is still not the best. I mean, they seem like oh yeah, and I didn't even mention that they drafted a receiver too. They got Rome Adonze, and then
They got
they
Rome
could have
Dunze. Yeah.
yeah, and they could have and they really for the first pick if they would have kept Justin Fields they could have um they really could have traded down. They could have got like more draft capital, or they could
Mhm.
have made like a really decision because they could have traded down like maybe to like number 5 and get someone like Joe Alt, and that would have been a good pick.
Yeah, so you made some great points there, but the main thing with Caleb Williams is he's a generational talent. It seems like. So how are you going to be able to move off of? One second, sorry, my camera is acting up. There we go. How are you going to be able to? You had the opportunity. You had the opportunity last year when you did the trade with the Panthers. And now Caleb Williams comes into play. You can't lose out on a guy like Caleb Williams. You had to trade Justin Fields. You had to send him for a flyer to the Steelers. And you saw what they did in the draft. They just drafted Odunze as well. I don't know why my camera is doing this. My apologies here. This is driving me crazy.
It's all good. It's all good.
There we go.
We just getting set up.
There we go. Yeah, I don't know why my camera is doing this. It shouldn't be doing that. Anyways, back to the Caleb Williams point. Yeah, I don't know. My camera's focusing on the mic. That's the problem. I don't know
Yeah,
why
that's
it's
why I'm
doing that.
saying like your mic is so clear, but you're so blurry for me.
Yeah, I shouldn't be. It's just my camera is my there we go. Okay. Anyways, back to what I was saying. So you made some great points. I don't know why my camera's doing this. It never does this. It's just auto focusing on the mic. Like watch if I do that. Here, maybe if I do that, that'll be better if I lower it there. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah,
Okay. Anyway, so what I was saying is you couldn't pass up on a guy like Caleb Williams. The Bears just couldn't pass up on Caleb Williams. And the reason why is because look what he did at USC. He's arguably, I mean, just the generational talent that he is. He's got the arm strength, he's got the mobility, he's got the IQ. I just think it was a clear pick because if you just look at raw talent wise, yeah, Justin Fields has been in the NFL, But you look at Caleb Williams, I don't think you could pass up on a guy like him. You just couldn't do it. What, you're going to trade down, and then what, you're going to play with fire and roll with Fields again? You kind of already saw the productivity and the level that Justin Fields already gives you. So I just didn't really see. And then going back to this point here from last year when they made the trade with the Panthers, they could have drafted Bryce Young. They opted to keep Justin Fields. Well, this year you flip it around one more year with Ryan Poles, and he said Caleb Williams is our guy. This is who we've been looking forward to, and they went with it. So that's kind of how I'm feeling about the whole Caleb Williams draft and what he's looking like for the future there. I think there's going to be fun, exciting times for the Bears and the Bears fans.
Yeah, I agree. I just think only reason I would have been maybe give Justin just another chance. I mean, we don't know how. I mean, this was like the most stacked QB class since you could say maybe last year, but most people are saying since 2020 draft class.
What's
To
the
be
Joe
honest,
with the Joe
so
Burrow,
like
Justin Herbert, right? That draft,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, if we're talking about in terms of depth, it definitely
Mm-hmm.
was um, probably as stacked as that because like you had about like 6, 7 QBs that could actually potentially go first round,
Mm-hmm.
maybe second round in this year. And I think a lot of teams needed QBs too. So I think
Yeah.
for QB rotation, like this was definitely the year to get a QB. And next year we don't know if there's gonna be a QB that's gonna stand out to be all that. Like I mean, you have Jalen Moreau that
Right now
can
they're saying
still
Shadur Sanders is the guy that should be going number one. But sticking on this draft here, Andrew, the main thing about this draft here was, like you said, it was so quarterback heavy, and that's why you saw the Vikings trade up a pick to get JJ McCarthy. That's why you saw the Broncos draft Bo Nix at 12 because it was such a quarterback heavy draft. Realistically, do you think Bo Nix should have gone in the first round? I don't think he should have, but he did, and
I don't think so. No.
The Broncos looked around and they said, "Hey, we're going to have to get a quarterback." And the Raiders, they decided not to go with a QB. They ended up going with Brock Bowers. I think they picked at 13, if I'm not mistaken. So, yes, it was a very quarterback heavy draft. You saw the Patriots, they took May at 3, Daniels at 2, Caleb Williams obviously at 1. Penix went 8. Michael Penix going at 8 was a major surprise, if you ask me, because Kirk
That was
Cousins,
very surprising.
nobody expected that. Kirk Cousins just signed the massive contract with the Falcons this offseason, and now the Falcons draft Michael Penix at 8. I mean, when you think about that, that's just crazy. Nobody expected that, but I mean, I don't know what Atlanta's doing, but I guess they're also building for, or they're planning for right, or they're working on right now, but they're building for the future. But then again, when you have a guy as talented as Michael Penix sitting behind Kirk Cousins, who knows, right? Because Kirk Cousins is coming off an Achilles injury. We don't know what Kirk Cousins is even going to do this upcoming season. Like I said, he's coming off the Achilles injury. Who knows? It's a hit or miss. So I don't know. What did you think about the whole Michael Penix draft pick at 8?
I felt like it was very surprising because like when I saw that I'm like Kirk Cousins is already on the team. Like they already have their guy for the QB. They just traded for they just been like I think they have like QB depth. Like honestly, not trade, but they signed Kirk Cousins and then I feel like that the Falcons like I mean maybe they see something like what you're saying. Maybe they were like um that Kirk Cousins he might have a little injury history and stuff. But I think I saw after the draft, like he said that they're willing to sit Michael Penix for like 8 years or something like that.
Yeah, I saw they're willing to sit Penix for 4 years. I saw something like that, but still, I just don't see the biggest thing about the NFL with this draft that just passed. Right, it's crazy. It's already almost a week ago, marking tomorrow. But when you think about it, right, Michael Penix can be the guy now for a team. It's great that he's going to sit behind a guy like Kirk Cousins, but also at the same time, if I'm Penix, I get to learn, but I also still want to play, right? I'm going to go in there every day. I'm going to work my tail off. I'm going to compete. And I don't know what the Falcons are doing because they have a pretty talented roster. I mean, you look at their offensive weapons, you look at some of their defense, they still have Grady Jarrett on defense. You got Jesse Bates, who's an absolute stud. They got him from the Bengals, 2 seasons ago now. Then you got on the offensive side, you got Drake London, you got Kyle Pitts, you got Bijan Robinson, you just drafted last year, Bijan Mustard, and you have some good offensive line pieces as well. Kyle Pitts at tight end, receiver. You got Drake London. So, I mean, there's definitely going to be some rumbling in Atlanta. And let's just say this hypothetically, right, Andrew? Kirk Cousins doesn't play well. Michael Penix is right behind him, and who knows? You just never know in the NFL. The quarterbacks are on such short leashes, and but yeah, I mean it'll be really interesting to see how this will play out with Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix.
But what does that say for a QB like Taylor Heineke, who was originally going to be the backup for Kirk Cousins? And we saw when he was the backup for Washington, he did pretty well suiting that backup role. So, like, you're just giving up on that now after drafting
Well,
Penix?
you drafted Michael Penix, so he's going to be the backup guy behind Kirk Cousins. He's going to learn behind Kirk Cousins, I would assume, right? But also at the same time, this is a really interesting thing because if Kirk Cousins is not fully healthy by week 1, who do you go with? Because you're saying it's Taylor Heineke who's the guy. I'm not sure if he is or not. But are you going to go to Penix? Are you going to go to Heineke? Are you going to rush Kirk Cousins out? Kirk Cousins out there? Do you have an emergency QB? Like, how does it all work out with the Kirk Cousins Michael Penix sweepstakes? That's what's really going to be really interesting. And I think it's going to be something to look forward to this upcoming season because NFL quarterbacks have short leashes. I don't care who you are, unless you're Patrick Mahomes.
Say when they got
I lost you for a second there.
oh, can you hear me?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're talking about what was the best pick in the first round. I was going first and saying my favorite pick would be Xavier Worthy because we saw he ran a 4.21, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the fastest 40-yard dash ever in the NFL. And for a team like the Chiefs, like they're based off speed.
Yep.
If you're giving Patrick Mahomes speed, like that's crazy. I don't know how he fell that far, to be honest.
So the reason why, and that's a really good point that you made. I think the main reason why he fell so far was because of the receivers ahead of him already. Was he better than Marvin Harrison Jr.? Was he better than Malik Neighbors? Was he better than Brian Thomas? Was he better than Marvin Harrison Jr.? So I just think it was such a quarterback wide receiver heavy first round draft. And then you also had Ricky Pearsall who went behind him. But the biggest thing for me is the Bills. They went and traded the pick with the Chiefs, which they did a few years ago. How the Chiefs even were able to acquire Patrick Mahomes going back a few years ago. But sticking on Xavier Worthy here, I thought that was the steal of the first round. I think it's a no brainer. You give Patrick Mahomes speed like he already has. You just got Hollywood Brown just earlier this year, and now you add Xavier Worthy, who's going to fit right in. And now everyone was freaking out because what were the Chiefs going to do without Tyreek Hill? Well, they just won 2 Super Bowls without him, and now you just go and add more speed. And then the Chiefs also just extended Travis Kelce. I'm sure we're going to get into that, to the highest contract for for a tight end, 17 million per year. He deserved it, but we'll get into that. But yeah, the Xavier Worthy pick I thought was an absolute home run. You saw what he was able to do at Texas. You saw what he just did for the 40, and then you go and add him into the Chiefs mix already. And let's see if the Chiefs can even figure out what's going on with Kadarius Toney. You got Kadarius Toney, Xavier Worthy. I don't know if Mecole Hardman is going to come back, and then you got Hollywood Brown. So
And
it's
you got
almost like,
Sky Moore.
and you got Sky Moore. Yep,
Moore.
we'll see what he'll do. The rich get richer. The rich get richer.
Exactly. Well, let's change some gears from the NFL draft. I think we talked a lot about the first round and stuff. Let's change the future of the WNBA.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's do it.
So for me, I feel like a lot of things have changed too because Candace Parker, she just retired. I thought this was going to be the most stacked like WNBA. You have Candace Parker, you have Caitlin Clark, you have Angel Reese, you have Della Dawn, you have all these different stars and more coming, and then Camilla Condonza,
Camilla Cardosa, and you saw Kelsey Plum. Yeah.
Kelsey Plum,
Sabrina Ionescu.
I saw that sniper when she was going against Steph Curry. She was making him a little scared for his money a little bit. Mm-hmm. So like very, I feel like it's still, even with Candace, I think this is going to be the most must watch. But then I don't like how people are going with the narrative that Caitlin Clark is going to change the WNBA. Like she's going to bring the viewership. It's more than Caitlin Clark. It's a women's revolution, I feel like.
Okay, so I think you make a great point there, but also at the same time, what she did in college basketball is going to translate to the WNBA. There's a reason why so many people want to watch or women's sports now, women's basketball is because of Caitlin Clark. You saw what the draft numbers did with the WNBA. She's just a fun player to watch. The game hasn't seen a player like her in a really long time. In my lifetime, I haven't seen a player like Caitlin Clark in women's sports. I mean, she is the women's version of Steph Curry. What she's able to do. I mean, she's shooting the ball from 30 feet out. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And she carried Iowa all the way to the women's college championship. And now you're going to see what she's going to do in the WNBA. And there's a reason why that fans want to watch her because she's talented. She's fun to watch. She's energetic. She makes the game more fun. She's got a little swagger to herself. She's got a little chip on her shoulder. She's kind of got that Kobe Bryant aspect to her, you know? So I'm excited to see what she's going to do. Indiana Fever and 37 out of their 40 is I was 37 out of their 40 games are going to be televised on ESPN. So however many games they play, 37 out of those are going to be on ESPN, and that's the Caitlin Clark effect right there. So I had to disagree with you on that one there.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, I just think like I mean, but I feel like the WNBA it has been growing even before Caitlin Clark. You could maybe say the college basketball effect, but like look at when the WNBA finals was going on, like there was all these stars pulling up to the game and
Yeah.
stuff. It was on ESPN. Like people were actually watching it, and then also the effect of the WNBA. We just talked about Sabrina facing Stephen Curry in a 3-point contest, the first
Mhm.
time ever. Like people maybe didn't even know who she was, but they definitely knew her name
Yep.
that after that match.
Yeah, but
And people,
imagine if Caitlin Clark
oh,
was in place of Steph Curry or in place of Serena Ionescu. Imagine if it was Caitlin Clark versus Steph Curry. Imagine if we can get a Caitlin Clark versus an all-star NBA player in a three-point contest. Let's just say it's a Klay Thompson versus a Caitlin Clark or Curry and Caitlin Clark. You see? And then also back to your point, yes, the WNBA finals last year was star-studded. It was filled, but imagine what it'll be with Caitlin Clark there. Imagine what all-star weekend will be with her there. That's how you got to think of it, right? It's like I hate to say this. I don't know if you're a Taylor Swift fan, but look what the NFL and how the ratings have gone up with Taylor Swift being in
yeah,
attendance at all
that's
the
true. That's
games.
true.
I mean, look at now all the talk
Yeah,
shows and TV shows will talk about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelsey. Girls are talking about uh, Taylor or Travis Kelsey because of his contract. I'm like, what? Yeah, I mean that's the effect that some of the. I mean, she's the biggest pop star in the world, but Caitlin Clark is the most popular women's basketball player in the world right now. That effect is going to carry on and now you just saw it with Taylor Swift dating Travis Kelsey. You just see what the NFL's ratings have gone up, how much money they've climbed up the ladder. They're already arguably the biggest brand in all of sports, you know?
yeah, I agree. I agree. I feel like I wish I I mean, I know she's not the same impact, but I feel like I wish people gave Candace Parker her flowers too because I feel like
Yeah.
Candace Parker she made WNBA must watch too, and like
Hmm.
and then the fact she was able to transition from that to becoming on TNT, like she was the first. I think she was the first woman's like sports analyst to go to TNT or become like on the TV analyst. Like Chimmy came after that, but like
Right.
they still Candace Parker she started the way for like women's in sports
Yeah.
outside of like playing WNBA or any of that.
Yeah.
And I feel like the reason people because like after I saw Candace retire, like I saw people in the comments saying like who like why do we care like why are they posting this like Candace Parker did a lot. She won 3 championships.
Right.
She had a lot of all-star appearances. She had a lot of records she had, and like people just underestimate that. But then when someone like Caitlin Clark comes in, like then everybody's like, oh my gosh, from what she did in college, like this is amazing. Like we've never seen anything like this. Like she's a great talent, but which also that everybody's goal is to win and stuff, and she didn't even win a championship. So I feel like you got to give someone credit that three-peated, well, not three-peat, but the won 3 championships with 3 different teams. I feel like you got to give someone like that credit for what they did in the WNBA, the professional. That's how people treat it in NBA. That like people were hyping up someone like Zion, saying he's the next generation. He's gonna be the greatest. He's gonna be the next LeBron. He's gonna be the next talent and stuff.
Hmm.
We see how he's translated to the NBA. He didn't really have injury history in college. He started having all these injuries in college, and then all these stuff going on with his weight and and he just wasn't as dominant anymore, and it's been slowing him down. And
Yeah.
he definitely, I think everybody's going off of that train that he's the next LeBron. And all these college players, it's not even just WM, it's not even just college women's basketball. Like all these new generational players are getting hyped up. Like we see Wemby in NBA, going to the NBA like for college and stuff, getting hyped up. You see people trying to see what Bronny's going to do, Jared McCain, see what Rob Dillingham's going to do. Like all these college players are getting hyped up because of what they did in college or their name and all of that. And it's like you gotta. I don't judge someone off of what they did in college because college is one thing, but if they can translate to the NBA, that's when I give them their props. That's when I give them
Right.
their flowers. I
Yeah,
gotta
I
see
mean,
that
you
first.
mean like I said, you make a great point there, but also at the same time, you could say that for a lot of different players. You could say what Caleb Williams did in college. You could say what this player, but also too, a lot of it has to do with name, image, and likeness, and social media. Now you're starting to see all these or you're starting to see players being, I guess, glorified through social media, right? Like back in the day, nobody cared about the boring players. Like for example, there was a lot of good players back in the day. I mean, that like let's just say defensively. Let's go completely away from offense for a second. Tony Allen, he's one of the most boring NBA players of all time. Remember him from the Memphis Grizzlies? Nobody talks about Tony Allen. One of the staples of defensive, like he's one of the staples of defense for NBA players of all time. Then you go to like when Steph Curry was younger, all he did was shoot threes. Oh wow, that's so cool. That's so cool. Now social media, it's like when somebody makes this crazy move, it just goes all throughout. Anthony Edwards is like starting to become the new poster boy. He's electric. He's athletic. He's energetic. Gets the crowd going. You're going to see in the Timberwolves and the Nuggets series. That's going to be spicy. So I understand your point, but social media has a lot of hype behind it, right? A lot of these players are hyped, but can they live up to it? We haven't seen Zion Williamson live up to the hype yet. He hasn't been able to stay healthy. He's been hurt. He's had off the court stuff. Can't maintain his diet. Can't maintain this. Can't maintain that. You just saw him get hurt against the Lakers before the play or in the playing game. Didn't get to play against the Kings in the playing game. Didn't even get to play in the Thunder series. So yeah, you're absolutely right. But that was the biggest question and concern with Zion is his health coming out of college. Can he stay healthy? His body weight.
Yeah, and I know we're gonna talk about this a little bit later, but I want to point on real quick a connection on how it for me it makes me wonder if it feels like NBA is going into more of what the social media wants, what the fans want to see, all
Yeah.
that, like kind of get the image and likeness up there, and then I don't know why they don't get like they had the celebrity games, but like if
Mhm.
there's people that actually can ball like from the YouTube basketball scene or from any of that. Like, I mean, next chapter is trying to chase up and be the next NBA. And why don't they try recruiting like some of those guys and maybe get them for 10-day contracts? Like I've seen some of them, they've got into the G League, but like
Yeah.
I feel like a 10-day contract, like if people saw like T Jazz 10-day contract, they would I think people would go crazy, honestly.
Shout out to my friend Dizo. He's a part of next chapter. I don't know if you've heard of him or seen him, but he's a part of next chapter. Dizo,
Yeah,
my
yeah,
guy.
Diesel, yeah,
My
Diesel is
guy. We just had him on the
crazy.
podcast last week. I just talked to him this morning. He's a cool guy. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. But the NBA is so selective. It's the talent level is so high. It's so hard to just pick up guys from YouTube scenes and I mean, there's so many guys that are overseas that are probably just as good that could be in the NBA that don't get the opportunity. It's such a small selective group, you know. And that's why everyone says, "Oh, that guy NBA he sucks." I'm like, "You sure about that? That guy would absolutely bust you up one on one, or most guys." I've talked to so many college basketball players and athletes. Like it's so hard to even get to the collegiate level, let alone the NBA. It's like it's insane. The level of talent is just like, oh, that guy sucked in that playoff series. Like D'Angelo Russell was terrible in that series. Like D'Lo,
Yeah, Bradley Bill. Like, come on.
yeah, Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal's older, but also too, I know you want to talk about the Timberwolves and the Suns. The problem with that series is the Timberwolves were the better team. The Suns were outmatched. Yeah, the Suns have the talent. They should be able to beat anybody and compete. But the T Wolves, they're one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. The Townsend Gobert experiment is starting to work out. Then you got Anthony Edwards. Then you got Mike Conley running the floor as the one who's experienced. He's a veteran. He's savvy. Then you got Nas Reed. Jaden McDaniels is one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA. They got a great coach in Chris Finch. The Timberwolves are a fun team to watch. And they last year against Lakers in the playing game, they lost, but they were also injured. They were still young. They were kind of a year behind. But now you're really starting to see the Timberwolves and what they're able to do. And I think this Timberwolves Nuggets series is going to go 7 games. I think it's going to be an absolute dogfight, especially if the Nuggets aren't fully healthy. Like KCP and Jamal Murray were kind of banged up from that Lakers series, and the Timberwolves are coming off a pretty hot series against the Suns. They just swept them. They're going to come in with all they got. They're going to want to beat the Nuggets. So I want to hear your thoughts about this series coming up.
Yeah, yeah, and wasn't last year after the Lakers beat the Timberwolves, didn't the T Wolves win and they faced the in the Nuggets in the first round last year, or was it the
Yeah.
Pelicans?
Yes, the Timber. Yes, so the Lakers ended up winning the play-in game, but the T Wolves ended up winning the second play-in game. So they ended up playing the Nuggets first round, and they got punked. And then the Lakers played the who did the Lakers play in the first round last year? It was
The
the
Lakers, they played the
Grizzlies. It
Grizzlies.
was
The
the
Grizzlies,
Grizzlies.
yeah, I
That was
remember that series a lot.
yep.
I remember
They punked the
that.
Grizzlies, and then they played in this
They humbled them.
uh
They
in
humbled them.
this in the second round. They played the
The Warriors.
No, yes, the Warriors, and then it was the Nuggets. Yeah. Anyways, going back to this Timberwolves Nuggets series, it's going to be a dogfight. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I my opinions on this Timberwolves and Nuggets, like, Timberwolves, like, I'm a Wizards fan, but like I've cast my favorite big and Ant's my second favorite shooting guard. So like that's why I'm rooting for the Timberwolves like to go to the finals. But the thing is it's gonna be tough because we as we've seen, there's
Yep.
nobody that can stop Jokic for real. Like Jokic, he'll drop triple doubles. He on his worst day, he's dropping
Yep.
triple doubles. He's like Luca at center. He's Luca at center. Like
Yes.
Luca's worst game
Absolutely.
when he was with the Mavericks, he dropped 29, 10, and 10 or something like that
Yep.
when Kyrie dropped 40. And people were like, oh, that
Yep.
was such a bad game. Look at his field goal percentage, all of that. He still dropped a triple double. His bad game is some people's best days.
Right.
A
Oh,
lot
you're
of people's
absolutely right.
best days.
That's the thing too. Going back to Jokic, this is a key thing here. I want you to look forward to when you watch this upcoming T Wolves series, right? So everyone was so concerned with the Lakers and the Nuggets these past few years. This series last year when they in the Western Conference Finals when they got swept and the Lakers didn't have enough bodies to put up against Jokic, and now you have this upcut. We just had this playoff series with the Nuggets and the Lakers. The Nuggets won 4-1, of course. But the big thing about this Timberwolves and Nuggets series is the Timberwolves can throw bodies at Jokic that the Lakers weren't able to do. They can throw Gobert at him. They can throw Towns at him. They can throw Naz Reid at him. They can get him off his game. If you can, Jokic, like you said, Jokic at his worst night is having a triple double. But but the point here is if you can throw bodies at Jokic, he will get uncomfortable, and that's the thing too. Then you resort to Jamal Murray. It's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a great series. I really think the Timberwolves can win this series. I know the Nuggets will probably be favored, but it's going to be a great one. The Nuggets will open up at home because they're the 2 seed and the T Wolves are the 3 seed. So it's going to be a fun one. It's going to be an absolute
If
dogfight.
I'm thinking if I'm the Timberwolves, I would start. I mean, they're the number one defense in the league right now, and
Yes.
if I'm starting with them, I'm having Rudy Gobert maybe start on Jokic if he's in the paint. But if he starts going to like the perimeter, like he starts shooting, Rudy Gobert's not going to keep up with that. We've seen when he was on the Jazz, he's not
Right.
good at guarding the perimeter. So now we get someone like Naz Reid. I would have said Cat, but like we know
He's so
Cat
soft.
defensively, he's soft. He's not good at switching. He's not good at adjusting. He's not a good defender. Like he can make. It's going to be hard for him to keep up with Aaron Gordon too. I don't know who I would put Cat on, to be honest. Like
To be honest with you though, Andrew, I really believe I really believe that the Timberwolves can beat the Denver Nuggets. I believe the Minnesota Timberwolves can beat the Denver Nuggets, and there's one reason why. You look on the other side of if Denver's looking on the other side of the court, guess who the baddest man on the other side on the court is? Anthony freaking
Anthony
Edwards. What
Edwards,
he
yeah.
just did to the Suns in that series, he punked Kevin Durant. You don't think he's gonna come with all he's got? Whoo! You got another thing coming. Anthony Edwards is
I
an
think someone
absolute
that's the
dog.
X. I think someone that's an X factor in the series though was Jamal Murray. Where we saw
I
two
wouldn't
game winners against.
I couldn't you can't say he's an X factor though because he's a superstar. An X factor would be kind of like a Mike Conley or like a KCP or a guy on that caliber or somebody off the bench for the Timberwolves. But also too, the Nuggets have or the Timberwolves have to look on the other side of the coin and they gotta go, we gotta guard Michael Porter Jr. He was a bad man in that Lakers series. Michael Porter Jr. is here before you're very he's already here. he's already he's
Yeah,
here. It's gonna
but
be a
like
fun series.
if we going X factors for the Timberwolves, it's definitely Nas Reed because like he might be
Yeah.
guarding Jokic
Yeah.
and we really got to see what he can do. against Jokic. I really like him as a defender. I think he can keep up with Jokic. I think he's the best defender that can guard both perimeter and interior out of all three. If you want to say Cat, Rudy Gobert, and Nas Reed, so that's why I think he's going to get so much more minutes in the playoffs and stuff. But if we're going for the Nuggets, I mean, I think you got to give um. mm, it's tough because obviously it's a Jamal, Michael, Aaron Gordon, Jokic show,
Yeah.
but maybe you can maybe throw out someone like a Reggie Jackson that can maybe have a good game off the bench,
Well, you
or
got
KCP can
KCP,
have a
of
good shooting
course.
day.
Yeah, but the
Yeah,
problem
KCP a
the
good shooting.
problem with the Nuggets though is they're not as deep as they were last year. You saw they lost Bruce Brown. They don't look like the same team they did last year. Yes, they
And
just
they
beat the
lost
Lakers
Monte
in five.
Morris.
They lost Monte Morris as well. So the thing up, he's on the T Wolves now. So you look at it and you go, the Nuggets are vulnerable. They can be beat. They're not. I mean, yes, they still have Jokic, of course. They still have their core, but they can be beat. And the Timberwolves, they can do it. I believe they can.
And oh yeah, we also forgot he who was pretty good on the Nuggets too. Will Barton was there too.
He's gone too. Yeah, he's gone. He was on the he got sent to your team, the Wizards, didn't he? And I don't know what team he's on now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Monte Morris was sent to the Wizards too, but then he
Yeah,
got to
and he
the
to T
T Wolves
Wolves.
as
Yeah,
well.
that's now that's a
Yeah,
good backup point guard right there. Now the Timberwolves are they have the team to do it. They could do it. They have the star. They've got the co-star. They've got the depth. They have the defense. They can do
yeah. I think they definitely. I think. I think to me, like you might say that the um. Well, we even forgetting for the T Wolves, Jaden McDaniels. When we
That's what
saw
I
what Jaden
said. No,
McDaniels,
I said Jaden McDaniels earlier. I said, yeah, what one of the best defensive players in the NBA.
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
He's
mean,
gonna
but he did against
pester Jaden
KD.
McDaniel's gonna pester Michael Porter Jr. He is gonna be all up in there, man. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a fun
that's gonna be
series.
very interesting.
Yeah.
It's going to be a very interesting. Who do you think has the better starting lineup? Like we said that the T Wolves have more depth, but
So
who do you think has the
if you
better?
go by the Timberwolves lineup, you got Mike Conley, Anthony Edwards, Jade McDaniels, Towns, and Gobert. There's there. My other hand is Jamal Murray, KCP, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, Jokic. I mean, Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic is the best two-man game in the NBA. I mean, you can flip a coin on that one. Anthony Edwards in town. Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, I'd have to go Denver. I think yeah, I'd
Yeah,
have to go Denver. You can flip a coin though. I mean, either way, whichever way you want to go. But Jamal
but
Murray
I
and
think
Jokic
like
is
if
the
we're
best
looking at
two-man
the
game in
weak
the NBA.
spots, I think if we're talking about the weak spots in the starting lineups, like you look at Mike Conley and KCP, and I feel like I'd
Yeah,
rather have KCP right now if I'm talking about shooting than Mike Conley. Like
yeah.
Mike
Mike Conley's a
Conley's
good veteran
doesn't.
too, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But oh, but yeah, it's gonna be an interesting series. And you said the best two man duo. I mean, some may say like sleeping on like Dame and Giannis. I mean, I know they injured, but
No, nowhere near. Jokic and Jamal Murray just came off a championship. No way.
that's true. That's
That
true.
pick that
I mean, this is
that
Dame and
high
Giannis'
pick and
first
roll.
season though.
Yeah, but that high pick and roll and that two-man game that they run is insane. It's not even fair.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
facts. That's
Jamal and
facts.
Jokic is just it's hard to beat.
So what's your favorite series for the second round? Like how it's looking. I know not the second round's not set yet, but like
Right.
we
Well, so
for most of the series we have
Miami's probably
a
out
good
tonight.
idea.
If we're going to go to the East, Miami's out tonight, of course. So then in the East, I don't think anybody's going to beat Boston. I've been trying to tell people this for the past few weeks. I mean, I just don't see it. Obviously, they just look like the best team in the East. I think they're going to cakewalk their way to the East to the finals. Going back to the West, though, OKC just beat New Orleans, the Pelicans. So now you got OKC waiting for either the Clippers or the Mavs. I mean, I don't think the Mavs. I think the Mavs will lose. I think honestly, if anything, the Clippers have the best chance of beating OKC out of the OKC Dallas OKC Clippers matchup there. So then you got those two, and then I think OKC's good. I really do. They're a very young team. I like them a lot, but I think they're close, but they're not there yet. So I'd have to go with the Clippers, and then it would be either Minnesota and LA Clippers, or it'd be Minnesota or Denver and LA. So I don't know. I think the finals, unfortunately, even though I want Minnesota to win, I think they will. I'm
Yeah,
very
I want
confident.
Minnesota to win too.
I want them to
But
win
come on.
bad. It might be like they give it all they got, and it's just not enough. Just kind of like how the Lakers were, and it very well could be Denver and Boston in the finals.
Mm. Yeah, that's a pretty safe finals to go with.
It's
I
the
would
two.
say
I
the
mean,
reigning
I
NBA
guess you
champ.
could say because I love OKC. They're a very fun young team. Shea's a stud, and you got the Williams guys, Jalen Williams, and then you got Dort, and you got Giddy, then you got Chet Holmgren, of course. They're a fun young team, but I don't think they're quite there yet. They kind of remind me of you know who they kind of remind me of? The Houston Texans in the end, if you go to the NFL, because the Texans were young, they emerged, they weren't good the year before, and now they're here, just kind of like how OKC is. So I'm not there yet on the Thunder. Now I could be completely wrong, but I don't think they're there yet.
I was gonna say it kind of reminds me of um well that Thunder team they when they first had CP3 on there, and then they had
Yeah,
like they had all these young guys. Like it was a fun team to watch. Of course, they don't really have that veteran like CP3 now,
right.
but like that looked like a pretty good. That looked like a pretty good team. Like they were giving the Rockets a run for their money that year.
Yeah.
Um, but let's switch gears from the playoffs to let's talk about what do you think the Lakers' future is after being eliminated.
Yeah, so I mean that's a great question, of course, and a great point to just talk about the Lakers. I mean, you saw them; they just lost 4-1. It's crazy about the Lakers because they led the entire game, and they led in every single game from that series. Right? They looked like they were able to compete with Denver. They were there every single game. So, and then LeBron played his tail off. AD played his tail off. The problem with the Lakers is they didn't have enough from their role players. That was the biggest problem with the Lakers from this past series. It was really unfortunate because Vanderbilt didn't even get a chance to play because he wasn't healthy. He
Oh
was
yeah,
available last game, game 5, but he didn't make it. Then you signed Gabe Vincent to this contract in the offseason. He was a shell of himself. D'Angelo Russell was too inconsistent. You can blame the coach. You can say this. You can blame Darvin Ham for the Lakers, but also at the same time, who else are you going to go get? What coach is available that you're going to go get? And you're going because it's the Lakers, right? It's the marquee team. They're the um, monopoly of the NBA. They're one of the biggest brands, right? They're always there's
I
always
hope
going
they
to
don't
be
get.
availability, but the clock is ticking for the Lakers because LeBron is he going to come back? It seems like he is. So now your free agents that your guys that are available out there on the open market, you got Trey Young and Donovan Mitchell or Donovan Mitchell and Trey Young. If you can get either one of them, are they going to put you over the hump? Because now you got to look at it because you're going to be competing with Minnesota. You're going to be competing with Denver, another OKC team that looks like they're obviously on the rise, and you got the Clippers, and then the Mavs. The Warriors will probably retool, I would imagine. So it's going to be really interesting to see what the Lakers will do this offseason. LeBron's going to opt out of his contract, of course, and then you're going to see the dominoes fall into place on what they'll do.
Um, yeah, I think the the thing is for the Lakers, I just hope they don't go out and get a coach like Doc Rivers. Like
I
I
don't think so.
because
You know what the Lakers should do? They should go hire Mark Jackson. The Lakers should hire Mark Jackson. You saw what he did in Golden State all those years ago. He was the driving force behind Klay Thompson, Curry, Draymond Green. He still hasn't gotten the coaching opportunity yet. He'd be a perfect fit. He'd fit right into LA. I don't think he's on ESPN anymore. If he still is, I don't think so. I think they let him go. But now he's available.
yeah,
If you don't like Darvin Ham, Mark Jackson's available. I think it'd be a win-win. Go do it. He's a players coach. He can even help some of the younger guys they have on the team. I think it'd be perfect. It would make the most sense. He would get along great with LeBron and AD. That his style of play would work. And it's another big name. It'd be great because they're probably going to get rid of Darvin Ham. I don't see they're going to bring him back. How can you really bring back Darvin Ham when you got swept in the conference finals last year to the Nuggets and you just lost the first round of the Nuggets 4-1? All the blame is going to go to the coach. And then it also remains to be seen, Andrew, what the Lakers will do with D'Angelo Russell because he's under contract still. Obviously, they're going to bring back Reeves. Obviously, going to bring back LeBron, AD. Those three guys are cornerstones right there. But hey, I really like Torian Prince. I would hope they could bring him back for the tax play. It's the T tax player money line exemption, because I know with a certain amount when you're over the luxury tax you get one player for that. So he would be a good guy to bring back. Then you look at the open market when it comes out and you'll see what you can do. But of course, they're going to be a free agent destination. But it all depends on LeBron and AD.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I feel like the thing is they're going to invest in what they need. Like I mean, I get what I get what you're saying about uh, um I get what you're saying about Darvin Ham,
Yeah.
but the thing is that at the same time, in his first time with the Lakers, they did make it to Western Conference Finals, and you can say it's not his team and stuff. But what's really look at LeBron's coaches in the past time, like Eric Spoelstra, elite coach, but like
Right.
besides that, he basically let it be LeBron's team. Then
Yeah.
you have Frank Vogel, he let it be LeBron's team, and then Darvin Ham's kind of feeling he's like a part of the trend. Um, and I think for the only reason I said it's a coach like Doc Rivers because I feel like Doc Rivers is a type. I mean, he lets them do what they want. Like he's not a good coach. Like in terms of in the playoff, if you want to win a championship, that's not the coach you want. But he lets you do what you want to do. Like you see the Bucks, he was letting Dame and Giannis do what they want to do. For Lob City, he was letting them run the fun offense. He lets you go out, have fun, and do what you want to do. Basically, that's
Yeah,
the
but
type of
that
coach he is.
but
Like he
the problem with that is you don't want a coach like that in this stage of LeBron's career. He's at the end of his career. Anthony Davis is at the end of his career as well. You don't want a coach like that. You want a coach that's going to be able to coach them, and when they're in late game crunch situations, not saying Doc Rivers doesn't know this, but you want a coach that's going to be able to understand the Lakers players, right? And Doc Rivers is still is with the Bucks right now, so I don't think they would go out and get him. It's not a bad option, but I think you go get somebody who doesn't have as much baggage as Doc Rivers. He's still coming off of the all the playoff losses that he has. I don't think he would. I don't think it would make most sense. I don't think it makes any sense for Doc Rivers because he's probably just going to stay with the Bucks. But we'll see what happens with them in the first round against the Pacers.
Yeah, I mean, I think if the Bucks somehow get out of this series, that's gonna be really good. 'Cause I think they'll have Giannis and Dame back by probably the second round, maybe.
I don't even
If
know if they'll
maybe
be. I don't know if they'll be fully healthy. I think they're done.
I mean not fully healthy, but like I don't see how if they're in the second round and it's a tough series, like they would be facing the they would be facing the winner of what
Boston and
series?
Miami,
It's not.
right? Or is it
No,
Philly and
doesn't
New
Boston
York?
and Miami they played the Magic and Cavs?
Oh right, yeah. Okay, so then there you go. So yeah, a beat up Milwaukee team is going to play the Knicks, and I think the Knicks will beat is going to
Oh
handle
yeah,
Philadelphia.
that's not. Yeah, that's not it.
No,
Like
no,
they're not beating
they
them.
probably lose that in five.
Yeah, like Jalen Brunson's looking crazy right now. 40 points.
Yes, sir. I've been trying to tell. I've been telling my friends that since last year that Jalen Brunson, what he's been able to do. Woo! That's a different breed right there, man. He left the Mavs and he's like, I am here. I have arrived.
Yeah, I think it would be fun to see Jalen Brunson versus um Tyrese Halliburton though, because everybody compares the two. So
Yeah.
that's why I would want to see the Knicks versus Pacers. To be honest.
I'd love to see a Boston and New York series. Two old classics going at each other, punch each other in the mouth. I mean, Boston would probably win that in six, but I think it'd still be a fun series.
Oh, yeah, I think it would be a fun series too. But I think the Celtics they just clear everybody in the East. To be honest, like
Yeah, that's what I said.
my team in the East from the get go was the Cavs. Like I thought the Cavs were a sleeper team to go crazy. Like you got someone like Darius Garland, All Stars. You got Donovan Mitchell. You got Evan Mobley. You got Jared
Yeah,
Allen, and then they're missing that small forward, but they felt like a very talented team. But
yeah,
after
they're
this
still
Magic
young.
series, like they
Yeah,
beaten them by 1 point. Like yeah.
Magic are a good, fun young team. They're going to be good for the future. I mean, they got the pieces as well, but the Cavs are still young too. But yeah, I mean, the East is Boston's to lose, if you ask me.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's how it was last year. Like I mean, this team's definitely better, but I feel like last year was for them to lose. Like
Yeah.
because everybody thought Celtics going to the finals, like no question. Celtics and Lakers. Everybody was saying Celtics Lakers finals, and both
Yes.
teams
Yeah.
lost in the West in their conference finals. And
Yep.
I think like the one that was more shocking, obviously, like not every Lakers beat the Nuggets like before that, like they beat them to go to the championship the Western Conference Finals, like when they had Dwight and stuff. But like,
Yep.
still, this was a better Nuggets team, and people were like, "Oh, we didn't know the Nuggets were gonna sweep them now." But like, they still, but people were like, "Okay, the Nuggets might be serious. Like they win it." And when people saw the Heat got
Yeah.
got that far, they were the eighth seed, and they went from the eighth seed to making it to the finals.
Yeah,
That was just amazing to
they
see.
didn't want to see those two small market teams in the finals. They wanted to see Boston and LA. If you look at it right now, Boston, of course, is the big market team in the East. West, I guess, big market wise, I mean, Warriors and Lakers and Suns are out, so and the Suns aren't considered a big market. So I don't really see a marquee big market team in the West. I guess that's left unless it's the Clippers, but they're the second fiddle to the Lakers, of course, because they're share the same arena still. But maybe the nah, I don't. Maybe the Timberwolves, but they're not a big market either. So
Nah, I mean Boston's a big market.
yeah, Boston carries that if whoever they match up against in the finals.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only West team that can like produce. I mean, there's not even there's not really any team that's producing that big market besides maybe the Clippers, but like the Thunder's definitely not. The Timberwolves definitely not. The Nuggets. I mean, they were just in the finals, but still, people don't give Denver respect. Like everybody's like, who wants to live in Denver? Who want like when the Lakers are facing Denver? I saw people go to the Lakers game when it was in LA, but when it was in Denver, no, there was no celebrity row,
No,
no
there's not
celebrity
going
row.
to be. No, the Lakers were talked about more than the Nuggets were in this series and in both series combined. They're talking about the Lakers at the when the series just passed more than they are about the Nuggets. But that just goes to show you it's the big market.
And that's how. And the Lakers are just like to me, they're like not winning wise, but they're like the Chiefs of the NBA because like the Chiefs, even because LeBron and Patrick Mahomes, they're the most talked about, the most marketable people in
Yes,
their sport. And anytime the Chiefs, like in the regular season, when they were losing or when they were not looking as dominant and stuff, like every time people were asking, what does this mean on Patrick Mahomes' legacy? Is he going to lose this year? They
right.
said back to back. I think it was I think both Super Bowls that the Chiefs were projected to lose, like against the 49ers and the Eagles. Like they were the underdogs. But it was like they were like, but still, it's Patrick Mahomes. Like you can't count on Patrick Mahomes. And every
Yep,
year, whatever seed LeBron is, people say LeBron, he might be the seventh seed, he might be the eighth seed, he might be the
yep,
sixth seed, he might be the fourth seed, but like he's still LeBron James. He's gonna make a way to get to the finals. And at least Patrick Mahomes, he's making up with his promises. I know there's the age difference,
yep.
but like still, he's making up with his promises by winning those rings without Tyreek Hill. But like after um LeBron after he got AD, he got that ring and stuff. But then he started getting right when he got Russell Westbrook, then when he got D'Lo, and he started recruiting all these other people to come to the
Yep.
Lakers and stuff. It just wasn't the same. Like Dwight even said they should have ran back that Lakers team they had because that was already complimentary. Like they had
Yeah.
Kuzma, they had KCP, they had LeBron, they had AD, they had Dwight, they had JaVale McGee, they had Rondo, they
Hmm.
had all these different pieces and Caruso. Probably my fault for disrespecting Caruso. They had all these pieces. I think that team was way hungrier. I mean, people say Austin Reeves is the new Caruso for LeBron
Oh,
and
well,
stuff,
Austin
but
Reeves
like,
is better than Caruso by a long shot. But yeah, I see what you're saying. Like that similar.
yeah,
Austin Reeves has got a nasty ass basketball persona, and he's that guy.
yeah. I think the only thing I'm giving Caruso over Austin Reeves is defense. Like
Yeah,
everything else,
he's
I
a better
think
defensive player.
Caruso.
But Austin Reeves is a really nice basketball style of play. He's great at drawing fouls. He's great at getting to the rim. He's improved his shot. He's improved his ball skills, his handling, his IQ. He fits like a glove with the Lakers.
Yeah, I think. Oh, oh, I think that he's definitely the more talented. And I think LeBron loves him. I mean, one reason I said Caruso because like he loved Caruso too. Like he loved what he brought to the team. He loved
Yeah.
the underdog mentality. Like people counted him out, counted
Yep.
both of those guys out.
Hmm.
They stepped up to be way better than people expected. But like they're those complementary pieces. Like I mean, I don't think like LeBron, he doesn't get Caruso or Austin Reeves to be that third guy, even though Austin Reeves was the third guy last year. But like D'Lo should be the third guy. Westbrook should be the third guy. Like those are the guys that they're really looking at to be that third guy, and then that makes you deep. If you're having Austin Reeves or a Caruso like as your fourth, fifth guy, like that's a pretty good roster right there. I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, But we'll switch gears about the Bradley Bill. Like we were talking a little bit about it, but his performance. I mean, I told you I'm a Wizards fan, so I'm not gonna be biased about Bradley Bill. That was sorry. That was a sorry performance. But like but people even when he did have a good performance, when he outscored Devin Booker and Katie, nobody talked about that. Like that was
Yeah.
the game right before he said, "I never got swept in my life,"
Hmm.
and I will be damned if I do get swept.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because the Suns were looking like they were probably going to win the finals this year. If you look at the Vegas odds before the season even started, and then you turn the corner and you get all the way to end of April, and they're getting a matchup against the Timberwolves, and they were not hitting on all cylinders at any point this season. They just look like any other playoff team in the West, which really there's no excuses there. And people are blaming Kevin Durant for the Suns' problems. Oh, Kevin Durant this, Kevin Durant that, and then Kevin Durant is in the corner, and then you got Bradley Beal with the problem with him, and now there's rumors coming out that Devin Booker wants out and he wants to go to the Knicks, and that he potentially will be paired with Jalen Brunson. But they had all the pieces and all the tools. Really, it's the Suns. It's one of the biggest failures in recent sports history because you went out and got all that, acquired that stuff for KD. Then you went and acquired Bradley Beal, all basically for a bag of chips. But the Kevin Durant trade sets you back years, and you put all your eggs into one basket. Very similar to like the Lakers, even though Lakers got a championship. The Suns just got swept, and it doesn't seem like much is really going on there. And it's tough because you put all that in. Then you just went and got Frank Vogel. You fired Monty Williams the year before. You got rid of Chris Paul, and now you look at the Suns, and they just look like any other team, which is crazy. And then you just also extended Grayson Allen to a 4-year, $70 million deal. You have Bradley Beal's contract on the books. You've got Kevin Durant. You got Devin Booker's. You got Grayson Allen's now, and you don't have a lot left. So I think the Suns are in a whole lot of trouble.
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly that I feel like I would have kept Monte Williams because like look at what his record. They were the first seed when they had Monte Williams. They made it they made it they made it to the finals and didn't they make the finals
They made it to
in
the
the two?
finals
Yeah.
against the Bucks, and they
And
lost. Yeah.
yeah, and they were up 2-0. You could say choke and stuff, but like Frank Vogel and no one would be picking up Frank Vogel if LeBron didn't give him a championship. I'm being honest. Like Frank Vogel, he's a solid coach, but I'm not. But like, did he think that this was this was gonna be the Lakers 2.0? Like KD's LeBron, AD is the Devin Booker, and then you got Kuzma or whoever you want to put in that third spot as the Bradley Bill. Like, no, this was not the same system, not same situation. And it's crazy that you say this. This is the most disappointing. This is one of the most disappointing teams in history because
Yeah.
that's what people have been saying about Kevin Durant recently. They said that Nets team was the most disappointing team in history and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's really so it is Katie. Are we now saying Katie's really hurting his legacy? Like is he going down? Because look, he just got swept in the first round with what some people would call a super team. He was with the Nets, and they pretty sure they got swept in the first round too by the Celtics. And I don't
Yes,
think
they
Katie was
did.
playing, but they
La-
got swept.
yeah. No, KD played. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. I know there was somebody injured. It was either Kyrie, James Harden, one of the three.
It
They
was
were like
one of them.
injured
Yeah,
during
no,
this game.
you're absolutely right. And now the real question remains: is Kevin Durant a number one option on a contender? You have to sit here and you have to look at that and go. You have to look around the league. Is Kevin Durant a number one option on a contender? The Suns, is he the number one or is it Devin Booker? If he were to go to another team, let's just say the Heat trade for, or let's just say he goes to the Heat, right? Because it's like hypothetically, right? Is he the number one option on there? Yes, Kevin Durant is still a number one option on a championship team. So people saying that Kevin Durant is not a number one option, that's a bunch of garbage and BS because he definitely still is. If the Suns were to let go of Kevin Durant, even though they just traded an arm and all everything in the world for him,
Yeah, no
teams would be
draft pick.
lining up to call for Kevin Durant. Lining up to call for Kevin Durant.
And the Wizards will be one of them. The Wizards will be one of them.
Right. But yes, Kevin Durant is still a number one option on a championship team. And let's just say this, right? If Kevin Durant was on the Knicks, he would be the number one option on the Knicks.
Yeah,
If
I
if
mean,
Kevin if
think that's
Kevin
crazy
if
to say.
it's not if Kevin Durant were to go to the Clippers, he was to be the number one option on the Clippers. He's better than Kawhi. He's better than James Harden. He's better than Paul George. This so
Oh, I mean, the only thing I would say though, the only reason like the Knicks they wanted KD, but then
right.
they don't mess with KD
Right,
anymore.
but
So I don't. So
yeah, but I'm just saying like Kevin Durant is still a number one option on a championship team. People just saying that is that's just ridiculous. Yes, KD is the number one option on a championship team. Teams would be lining up to call for Kevin Durant. He still averaged 28 points per game this regular season. Yeah, they got swept, but let's not sit here and act like Minnesota was a bad team. Like they're arguably the best, one of the best teams in the NBA, if not the second or third, maybe even the best regular season wise. I mean, OKC got the one seed, Denver got the two, Minnesota got the three, but those three teams right there were neck and neck with each other all throughout. It was, I think it was decided by half a game. So that's just a bunch of garbage, man. Honestly,
yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think definitely they were the best team, and I'm surprised they didn't get that first seed. Like they were the first seed so many times, and they're the number one defense, and the
Minnesota, yeah.
Timberwolves like yeah, and the Timberwolves like I like them more than the Thunder. Like if they were to face the
Oh
Thunder in
yeah,
the Western Conference Finals, I think they definitely could beat the Thunder.
they
I
probably
mean,
win in five.
I don't think yeah. Yeah, I have a friend who he's very invested with the Thunder, and he thinks the Thunder own them and stuff. But I think in the regular season they tied like 2-2 or something like
Yeah,
that. Like
regular season doesn't get anything. It's
yeah,
all it's all about playoff in the playoffs. What happens in the series and playoff matchups. A lot of people get caught up between the teams and oh that team's better than that team or this and that. Look at the playoff matchups. Look at what player or what team how that team matches up against that other team defensively, offensively. You're going to see in this Minnesota and Denver series how they match up with each other. Look at the matchups and how they go about it. Just like in the Lakers series, how they did their matchups. Same thing in the Clippers and Mavs series, how well they match up with one another.
yeah. I mean the Clippers and Mavs is definitely um
It's a dogfight.
is definitely an interesting one. Like it
Game
can
five
go
is
either
on
way.
tonight.
Yeah, I
Yep.
think the only thing is that very I think the Mavs are a little lucky with like all these stars were out. Like, well, not for the Clippers, but like I'm
Yeah.
just talking about in the playoffs. Like all these stars have been out. Like you've had the Kawhi's out, you've had the Giannis out, you've had the Julius Randles out, you've had um even Jamal Murray was supposed to be out, but he played the game and
Hmm.
stuff. But everybody's
Yeah.
been getting injured. Zion was out. Like yeah,
Yep.
it's been all these stars out, and I just think that to be honest, like that if if the Clippers are giving the Mavericks to work they when they don't even have Kawhi there, like they have Paul George and James Harden doing their thing. Westbrook's not playing up to par, but like if they had Kawhi there on top of like James Harden and Paul George getting 30, like you're probably getting another 25 to points from Kawhi. Like they're getting blown out of the waters right there. And that would be a scary team too. Like if they had Kawhi, I think that team's beating the Thunder definitely. The experience they
Oh
have
yeah,
there,
for sure.
the
I think they even
talent.
beat him without
Yeah,
Kawhi.
yeah. Um, um, I I think it's gonna be um I think it's going to be great. It's great to see this playoffs. This playoffs has been very interesting. It's very fascinating. It's been fun to watch. I don't know. I don't know which. I think I like last year's playoffs a little bit more so far. I mean, we're in the first round, but like I like last year's like first round to playoffs more because like the Grizzlies hype. Like you heard all the shots they were throwing at the Lakers and stuff
Yep.
and all this, and then the Dylan Brooks and all the characters and stuff. Like that was some of the best moments. Like and then
Yep.
LeBron, that's when he has to get back in that mode. He put his headphones on. Oh, he was locked in.
Yeah, you're gonna get that in that T Wolves Nugget series coming up here. Anthony Edwards is a dog. He likes trash talk. Jamal Murray likes trash talk. It'll be spicy for sure. And if we can somehow get Boston
Yeah,
and LA, that'll be spicy as well too. Or, sorry, Boston and New York, the Knicks with Jalen Brunson. He'll be talking his talk, as well as Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown. It'll be for those if they can match up. If they match up with one another, it'll be a fun series.
yeah. Oh, but I think that's a lot on basketball
Yeah,
talk. I think we went well. Yeah, I had NBA awards next, but like I mean,
yeah. It's not
I think a
not
lot of
yet.
them are yeah
Yeah,
predictable.
yeah. Well,
Yeah, so
is that wrapping it up?
yeah, unless you wanted to talk about the Kendrick and Drake or the Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, but those are like a little off sports talk, so I don't know.
Oh no, I mean, yeah. I
Oh, I
mean,
want to ask this question. I want to
okay,
get
go
your
ahead.
opinion on this though before the end. Is
Yeah.
that who? I was seeing on First Take it asks they were asking Stephen A. Smith who will have a better legacy, KD or Jokic?
Who will have a better legacy, KD or Jokic? Well, considering Kevin Durant
Yeah,
has two rings, he's got two Finals MVPs. You can say the whole thing about the Warriors. He's arguably one of the greatest scorers of all time. LeBron obviously has the points there, but in my book, Kevin Durant is pound for pound. I think arguably the most unguardable player in NBA history. But I mean, Jokic and KD, who's going to have a better legacy? Jokic has a chance to go down as the greatest center of all time. Does Kevin Durant have a chance to go down as the greatest small forward of all time? No. So I'd have to say Jokic,
yeah. I think
especially
when I was first seeing it,
if the Nuggets win the finals this year, it's going to be hard not to put Jokic at top five all time. I mean, he'll be right there for sure. He'll have two Finals MVPs, two rings, just like KD. He'll have, and if he wins this third MVP this regular season, he'll have three MVPs. Kevin Durant has what, one regular season MVP?
yeah, I think
Yeah,
he has
he
one.
has one. He had that one in again with OKC. Yeah, Jokic hands
Okay,
down.
see, yeah.
Jokic hands down.
Yeah, I think when I was first seeing it, I was like, dang, this gotta be like what are they talking about on first take? They gotta be crazy comparing Katie and Jokic. But then when you really look at it, like Jokic, I mean, he's
Yeah,
done it, and he didn't have to bandwagon the team either.
he
He
didn't
didn't
have
have
to
to
hop
go
teams
to a
either.
super
Nope.
team like the Warriors.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
like
stayed
he's
on
doing
the
this with his
Nuggets.
own team. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that goes into that too. I mean, you look at the impact on the game what Kevin Durant has brought to the table. You look at the impact Jokic has brought. I mean, they're two totally different players. It's a really weird question, but it's sports talk now these days. I mean, players are compared to players from back then to now. I mean, some people think that Jokic is already a top five center of all time. Some people think that this and that. Some people think Steph Curry is a top five player of all time. It's just a very um fun conversation to have. But realistically, I mean, KD's one of the most special players of all time. I mean, you can't take away anything Kevin Durant has done. I mean, he is arguably one of the most unguardable players in NBA history. Jokic makes his argument as well. So it'll be interesting to see if KD wins another ring, maybe he does before he retires. But then again, KD could go down as the greatest scorer of all time and pass LeBron. Who knows, right? So, I mean, I want to have this conversation when their careers are all said and done. I think that's a better way to put it, too.
okay, yeah, I respect that, and yeah, I definitely think I'm happy KD. I get mad sometimes. I mean, I don't like how he jumped teams and stuff, but I still respect him because he is from the DMV area,
Yeah,
and he's a great player, and he's one of, like you said, most unguardable players,
he's a
and
legend.
he and he definitely he sets the bar for people. Like
Yeah.
everybody's saying, "Oh my gosh, KD, like he's so unguardable and stuff." But then they come and then you hear people would not if KD wasn't good, people wouldn't be complaining about him going to other teams either. That's what
Right.
people gotta realize
Yeah,
either. So
absolutely.
So that shows how good he is. And like someone like Dane, and it's not like everybody when they jump, it's not like everybody when they jump teams they become um they just automatically get rings. Like CP3, he went to the Suns team and he still didn't get a ring.
Yep.
You got you got James Harden going to his Clippers team. Even that Nets team not getting a ring. Kyrie when he left when he left when he left Cleveland to go to the super team in Boston, like that wasn't he didn't get a ring. He didn't go to super team in Nets, he didn't get a ring. Now him Luka still didn't get a ring. Like he I don't think he's going to get a ring this year.
Yeah.
Um, what team was Kyrie on last year before the Mavericks?
The Nets.
The Nets. Oh, he was still on the Nets.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
he stayed on the Nets,
Oh,
and then he had the whole thing, and then he went to the Mavs, and he got traded to the Mavs, and then he re-signed with the Mavs this past offseason in the summer because he was linked to the Lakers, and he was going to see if he was going to go to the Lakers or not, but he decided to stay with the Mavs, and he signed that huge contract extension with the Mavs, like the Supermax, I think it was. It was crazy.
honestly, I like both teams in New York right now because they've got from these trades that they did, they got a lot. Like the Knicks were getting Jalen Brunson, that was a big for them. The Nets when they did that KD trade, when they got Mikal Bridges,
Yep.
they got they got like
Cam Johnson.
4 picks. Cam Johnson,
Yep.
they I'm pretty sure they got like a big two. They had I think they had Jared out. They got Jared Allen at first or something like that. Or
That was a
Jared Allen
while
or
ago.
no, Jared Allen was traded to the yeah, Jared Allen was traded.
Traded
Yeah,
to the
like they
Cavs.
had a very good team.
Yeah.
So okay. But yeah, this was a good talk. I
Yeah.
appreciate you coming on the
Of course.
podcast and doing this episode and definitely we gotta talk again maybe sometime after the playoffs or something. Do this
Yeah,
again.
man. Yeah, whenever. I'm always down, man. Always down to chop it up. But I appreciate you having me on. Guys, make sure to check out my stuff on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, the Inquisitive Mamba podcast. Know where to find us. I'm excited. Thanks again for having me. It was a lot of fun. I really appreciate it. And keep doing what you're doing, man, and keep putting out content and keep, pushing yourself and keep that Mamba mentality, man. You just got to keep putting out content and letting people know who you are and putting your flavor out there.
Thanks, I appreciate it, and I'll let you know when this episode is out.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. Appreciate you.